Well, hello Vlogmas. How are you? Happy day 12 here. Before we get much further in anything, is a card update. This is all the cards I have left. I had 32 to begin with. So this is significantly less than 32. Good news there. It's also been really nice because writing all these cards has reminded me that there are so many wonderful people in my life and given me the opportunity to reach out to people that I don't get to talk to very often and things like that. So it's been actually really fun. Highly recommend. Even if you don't want to go about making 32 cards, you could always just grab one or write one or send a quick email or e-card or message to somebody in your life. So now that I've talked about cards ad nauseum forever, I have a story about how I thought the house was on fire a couple days ago. Not fun. Underneath my desk is a whole bunch of wires. You guys can't see back there, but there's like there's a monitor, a whole bunch of like sound pieces, a bunch of microphones, the actual computer, my laptop. There's like a lot of electronics that hang out in this area, and there was this very distinctive burning smell that happened suddenly a couple nights ago. I was so worried. I was like, what is on fire? I'm under my desk. I'm like unplugging things, turning off the electric, like turning off all the power strips, being like, what is it? What's on fire? I can't tell. And eventually traced it back to my never used fireplace. There is a fireplace right here. I don't use it because of Mika. It's totally blocked off, but I suddenly got really worried and was like, has somehow like fire happened in said fireplace? So I ended up like moving everything, checking it. That's why there's gear back there. Nothing was on fire. Nothing was hot. There was no electrical smell. That it smelled just kind of like smoke, like a fireplace. When wind comes through the open flue, it can pick up like residual fire smell. That was wild, and everything is fine. Everything's back to normal. Everything is chill. Something interesting to know, but it is always worth checking because last thing we need is a Christmas fire for 2020. Knock on desk. Not about that life. That's a little fire story. I was gonna do some cooking today, but it turned out that I ended up in a very major traffic jam for a while. I have attained all of the things to do a little bit of holiday baking in the near future, so that's exciting. My family, a lot of them live in the other side of the country. That's why yesterday's video is about North Carolina. A lot of my family lives there and I live in Seattle, so like if you drew a picture of the US, it would quite literally be the opposite side of the country. I often am traveling around holiday times. That's a pretty common thing that happens in my career and in my life, so I'm often not here during the holiday times. So as a result of that, I often spend holiday times a bit away from my family, in communication with them for sure, but a bit away from them. And this year, that seems harder, I think, for me than usual, possibly because I'm not, you know, in Singapore. I'm not like traipsing through a small town in England. I'm here in my home in a way where I can't even necessarily do holidays the way I would on my own in Seattle as usual. So as a result of that, I started thinking of ways to feel connected with my family and my background, because when I can't go forward the way I want to, I try and look and see if there's a way I can go backwards. Visit history. Go back and see if there are things that there are to grow from. So I went and looked and found a couple of family recipes through my mother, and so we're gonna work with some of those. This is what used to be my bangs. You know what? Quarantine's about experimental looks. I haven't got time. What is it? The phrase is, I ain't got the time or the crayons. Every once in a while, a gift just kind of has to go to someone, which is what has happened with this gift that we're gonna be working on today. Inspired by something I saw in a magazine that I actually cut out. I don't know if y'all can see this little advertisement right here. It came from a junk mail catalog that I got, and I have a series I'm doing on TikTok which is called like reading through junk mail catalog. Found this sign, and my friend Joel, who is another creator friend of mine, Joel the Geek, he specifically said to me, Joel the Geek, who is Geek of the Year, as a fun fact, specifically said he wanted this sign. I don't have the time or the crayons to explain this to you. It was also in this like color situation. So I have begun making one. Anyway, let's make stuff. It's like partially nail polish because the Sharpies, they were all dying. So there's a Sharpie base, but then there's nail polish, and then there's the crayon bit is just various colors of Sharpie. I think it's kind of fun. Check. A thing is done.